You're listening to KYST 89.3, The Bone. The Bone. And now time for South Tucson Youth Football. Simulcast on AM 1400, The Growler. And on South Tucson Local Access Channel 22.
Oh, man.
Arizona. Good morning, Arizona. There we go. Bit of a mic issue there. My name is Brian Hughes. This is South Tucson Youth Football. We are broadcasting live on KYST 89.3 FM, The Bone, AM 1400, The Growler, and of course, simulcast on Local Access Channel number 22, South Tucson Local Access. Those are the games you're seeing today. We're going right to one. At the moment, that is Rancho Robusto plus-sized warehouse taking on Texas Roadhouse. Big game in the Big Small Business Conference. Rancho Robusto 8-1, number 2 overall. Texas Roadhouse looking to get a win that they need a little bit of help. If I pull up my, I believe I have the situational sort of things here in my notes that Rancho Robusto, with their win over the Mulch Hut last week, they have clinched a spot in the championship game. Of course, this is the final game of the regular season, game number 10 for all 60 teams. Only 12 will play next weekend because that is championship weekend. Championship games, the divisional winners of each of the 6 conferences will do battle for the conference championship and that all-important guaranteed spot in the playoffs. For a lot of teams, that's potentially their only way in. I would say that might be the case for a team like Texas Roadhouse. They need a little bit of help. They are one of 2 teams with the potential to face off in a rematch with Rancho Robusto. Rancho Robusto, again, beat the Mulch Hut last week on Sunday in a heck of an all-ranked game. They have solidified their number 2 ranking as long as they continue to win today. Texas Roadhouse need to win, and they need Burns and Crackle Mesothelioma Law Firm, who I believe are playing. They are playing right now against House of Guffaws Comedy Palace. We've got our eye on that one. That's not going to be one of our featured games as Texas take the lead with a touchdown and the extra point up and good. So putting Rancho Robusto on the back foot to get things started. Again, the way the services division of the Big Small Business Conference, the BSB for short, will work is Burns and Crackle currently facing House of Guffaws Comedy Palace. They win and they are in. They control their own destiny. Texas Roadhouse need to win. They need Burns and Crackle to lose as well to a winless team, House of Guffaws, 0-9. So not looking that great. Texas Roadhouse looking pretty good so far. 3rd and 12 against Rancho Robusto. Let's see if Louisville Sinkhorn, who's been amazing, he throws a pick to veritable cornucopia. And it's Texas Roadhouse with the turnover. And Guitar Solo is brought down with a huge sack in the backfield for a loss of 11. Guitar Solo getting hurried again. Finds, it's picked off as well by Rancho Robusto, who start things off from their own 35. And we got a pair of turnovers. And he's going to hit Sol Watt on the long pass for 24 yards and a first down. He's going to go to the next game to kind of check in. We go to the Embiggener to show where that football landed, and Sol Watt gets an easy first down after a 16-yard gain. Sinkhorn from the 26 has Monthly Gomez the 4th. He fumbles the ball, And it's picked up by Veritable Cornucopia. And you got to imagine they're going to decline the penalty for the turnover. So Texas Roadhouse doing work on defense. Guitar solo evades the tackle, goes long. It's incomplete, does not hit the receiver in time. We're going to go over to our other game we're focusing on right now. Number 3 overall, Mama Logano's Legitimate Spaghetti House tying things up against nothing but Borscht, a 3-6 team in the Foreign Legions. Well, it's currently called the Pinko Division. It's going to be renamed to the Near East Division after enough letters and complaints have come. I'm tired of getting them. I've petitioned day in and day out this season. So what was once called the Pinko and the, I can't even say it, the Oriental Division. They're a little antiquated here in South Tucson. It will be called the Near East and the Far East Division. Slow and steady, I guess. The division is not a rug or an express. I don't think there's any other use for the words Oriental or Orient or Leighton Orient, I guess. But I can't imagine this little town knows anything about English football. Anyway, yeah. K.O. Pectate with the incomplete pass to start things off for nothing but Borscht. They are on their opposing 45 and moving nicely down. That's Brown sit, hoop, and chat with the 4-yard gain as we get closer to the end of the first quarter. Mama Logano got a nice look over lose last week. And they're not in really control of their own destiny. Francois Creperie, they have the unfortunate task of being in the same division as the number 1 team, the only undefeated Francois Creperie. Tomorrow they'll be going for perfection in their game against Danish Lose. Tough game to have to play. And Danish Lose, of course, also a divisional rival. So 3 teams from the Near East Division, all in the rankings. 1, 3, and 9. And that, of course, that battle between 1 and 9 will be tomorrow. Second of our 2 featured games at 1 p.m. Eastern. Mama Logano's are going to hope for, well, they obviously need to win today to go up to 9-1, and of course 6-1 in division. And they need to take on, they need to hope for a loss from Francois Creperie, because that will put a 3-way tie at the top of the Near East Division, and they will take the they'll take the tiebreaker in the instance of a 3-way tie. It goes to head. That would put each team at 1-1 against one another, and it would go down to point differential. That's the tiebreaker. How many points have you scored in those games versus how many did you concede? So margin of victory, total margin of victory is another way to put that. Even the Borscht from their own 9, they were able to stop Mama Logano's, but they're pinned back pretty hard here. Early in the second quarter, we're gonna check in on another game. This one, there's anything on the line. Flappy Pappies with their win over Smoked Meat Every Day, who dropped to number 6 in the rankings. They lost to number 4 as the number 5 team last week. So again, respectable. But they are currently 7-2, looking to go 8-2, and just solidify an at-large bid. That's what they're hoping for. I think a win for them will probably do it. Number 6 should get you. You got to imagine there's going to be some ranked teams that will get the automatic bid, but that's what Smoked Meat Every Day is hoping for. A win today over Shoeless Jim, so they are currently down to by 10. We'll probably, I gotta say, that would solidify it. The Gluttony League has nothing to play for as far as a championship game. We already know after last week that championship game next week will be Flappy Pappy's Pancake Shanty, currently ranked number 4 overall. And I believe they play later. Are they playing right now? No, they play in the second session. They are one of the games against Tremors Pizza. So we want to see the number 4 team potentially end the season strong. And smoking it every day, punting again. This is not the result we want. Against Jim's 4-5 team. This would not be considered a good result, and they fumble, but Shoeless Jims recover, and it's game 2. And they're only 1 yard is gotten back. They only got 1 yard back on that loss. Did smoke meat every day, but they're gonna just throw it long and wide to Chuckle Brothers, but it's gonna come back on a holding call. So 3rd and 19 deep in their own territory. Shoeless Jims getting pinned back. Quarterback Stilson Crosby almost gets hit, and that is well defended. So it's going to be a punt from their own end zone. Let's just take a look at the punt and see where it leads Smoked Meat every day. It's a good booming punt. They're going to field it from the 43 and cross midfield and get to the 30-yard line. Already 2 minutes left to go in this half. We're going to check back in on Texas Roadhouse. Upset alert right now. They were slight favorites by 4.5 points. They are doubling that advantage. A 9-point lead for Texas Roadhouse. And they have the football, so we're going to keep an eye on this one. Potential upset alert. Not just in that game, but in the game we just featured, which was Smoked Meat Every Day, who I believe just got a touchdown, and they are going to close that gap to just 3. So it's 10-3 in favor of Shoeless Jims. To be a little bit less of an upset since Texas Roadhouse do have 6 wins out of 9 games, but so what? Not getting anywhere in this game, and he's been such a consistency for. He's been just such a consistent player for Rancho Robusto. If I can just look up his stats right now, he has been just such a. He's been just such an incredible player. Let's see. If I get team player cumulative offensive statistics, yeah, he has rushed for 956 yards this season, roughly 106 yards a game. That's an average. I don't know how that fares as far as the league-wide goes. I don't get league-wide reports here, unfortunately. I'd like to, but I don't. I guess I don't get league-wide reports here, so that's unfortunate. But have to work on exporting that next season. I love this website that I log all the stats on, and yes, I do log the stats for every single game. That is going to be 300 games after this week. 270 so far. I just want to point that out that I do that. But nonetheless, Rancho Robusto from their own, deep in their own field, only get 4 yards back. It's 3rd and 10, and they're just not getting any offense going right now. Oh, Nance is going to get it, but it's not going to be good enough for the first down. They will punt from their own. The line of scrimmage is on their own 19. They will punt it from the 6. And let's see what they can do at Texas Roadhouse. It's Mayo with the return. Gets it down to, looks like, the 47. So a short field for Texas Roadhouse with just 1:50 to go. They can expand this lead. They're already up by 9. Wide open, and it's overthrown. Incomplete. So we currently know, we explained the situation of this game. We explained the situation of the Foreign Legion. And we already know that the Gluttony League is solidified. Other games happening right now. Holy Balls taking on Septic Tanks for Jesus. That's a game with a lot to play for, as well as Biblical Proportions are playing Stations of the CrossFit. Biblical Proportions win, and they are into the championship game against Blind Bobs. Blind Bobs, of course, have had the Vices division of the EAC cinched up for very long, for a couple of weeks now. The situation there is, if Biblical Proportions win, they are through. If Holy Balls win and Biblical Proportions lose, Holy Balls are through. Septic Tanks for Jesus can win their game against Holy Balls, and if Biblical Proportions lose to Stations of the CrossFit. Septic Tanks for Jesus go through. So, a lot to play for in those two games. We'll keep an eye on them if anything interesting happens. I think right now, if I look at them, it looks like we are getting pretty tight in that one. It looks like, where are those scores for me? Those are on those screens. I just open that up a little bit. My screens are a little small. I've got to embiggen them just a little bit here. So we head to the 2-minute warning in this game, and Texas Roadhouse still moving down the field, 1st and 10, but not getting a lot going there. And then got the ball back, and they immediately, Lamar Larson for 4 yards. That's a halftime score. Stations of the CrossFit currently up by 6 over Biblical Proportions. So a little upset alert. Man, what a slide for Biblical Proportions. Again, their first year as a new sponsored team, as a new sponsorship. It's the same old team, I believe, as Autopsies by Candace. Touchdown, Larson. Big catch there for 42 yards and the touchdown. Texas Roadhouse taking a giant lead with 8 seconds left in the half. I believe, we have a halftime score. Burns and Crackle are up by 4 on House of Guffaws. That's tighter than I think a lot of people would have expected. Burns and Crackle, they will face Rancho Robusto in the championship game if that result holds. If they win, Texas Roadhouse, of course, need to win, which they are doing right now, but it's out of their hands if Burns and Crackle get the win. That goes down to the tiebreaker, and that is a halftime score. So we're going to go over to this one, start of the third quarter. Mama Logano's up by 8 on nothing but borscht. Mama Logano's need a win, and they need Francois Creperie to lose tomorrow for their spot in the championship game. They will face the winner of Happy Release Mannequin and Bob Barker. That's a little bit easier to say. They will play each other. Winner goes on. We saw a lot of those games last week. Another one of those in the Far East Division. One of those teams really setting the league on fire, but the spot in the title game gives you a chance to become the playoffs. Doesn't matter your record, as long as you make it in, you're in. So we could see the bubble drinking a little bit of some of these teams that wouldn't have gotten an at-large bid feel a spot. What that does is that basically forces one of these higher-ranked teams. We see an upset next week. One of those higher-ranked teams will have to take an at-large bid because they still earned it on merit. But those teams that would be like sitting about 8th or 9th or 10th or 11th or 12th in the ranking might be getting nervous. They want these. If they can't solidify their spot with a championship, they can't clinch a spot in the playoffs with a championship in their conference, then they're going to have to use an at-large bid. We want all ranked teams to get those championship, automatic bids. Big touchdown by nothing but borscht. KO Pectate airs it out. Second touchdown of the game. They're going to go for 2 to tie this game up. KO Pectate incomplete. And Mama Logano's, they'll probably decline. They accepted the penalty, so they're letting them get a second shot at it. And they just gave them the 2-point conversion. I don't understand that. Oh, I think the offside meant that, I think the offside meant, it was against the defense, so they had a chance to go again. That was my mistake. So they get the 2-point conversion, and it's a tie game. Gogurt Squeeze will field this one and take it from 28 for Norman Whitecastle Jr. You want to talk about a star. Are you okay? He's just still running with that ball. That's unfortunate. Well, there we go. Penalty on that one. It's so hard it flattened his knee. Marvelous Virgin. There you see that. Strong veteran leadership. Getting all those yards from the penalty back. +1. He's already rushed for 225 today. And if we want to take a look at his stats, let's go ahead and see what he's doing. He has rushed for 1,232 yards this season in the first 9 games. Mormon Whitecastle Jr. has thrown for 11 touchdowns, has thrown for 970 yards, has an over 50% completion percentage. You know, amazing for such a young player. Just what poise for that young kid. But they're just been such a good team. Mama Logano's certain to see them in the playoffs. I got to imagine, even if they were to somehow be upset today, I can't imagine they'd fall so far as to not get an at-large bid. But you know, you never want to say anything is for certain. They're gonna let that punt go into the end zone. They will take it from the 20. White Castle is going to complete flag on the play. And a little bit of extracurriculars over there in the end zone between White Castle and that defender. So, you know, that 10-yard holding penalty. That was for holding. He's going to get him back by throwing it to Hollis. It's back 9 of those yards. It's 2nd and 11. Go ahead. And, we got breaking free for a run. Smoked meat every day. Taking the lead for the first time today. 24-20. The kick is up. It's good. And the number 6 team takes the lead with 8 minutes to go for the first time this game. Smoked meat every day. The number 6 team in all of South Tucson, that's Conda Ritz, getting hit hard at the 37. For them to recover, flag on the play, Stilson Crosby. It's picked off by Spontaneous Hambone, but Big Z Wedge was offside, so it's a dead play. It's a free play for Stilson Crosby, so it's not going to be affected by that.
Go! Sit up. Hike. See
what Shoeless Jims can do. They're taking down the clock nicely, so I think they're trying to play the long game here. Let some air out of the football. Oh, what a catch by Chuckle Brothers. 5 catches today, 85 yards. All he's missing is the touchdown, and what a touchdown it would be. Yodo Koitisfish is flattened for a loss of 3.
Hike.
2nd and 13, big drop back for, almost throws it away into linebacker's. Crosby, a lot of time to throw it. Misses his running back, Koitisfish. 4th and 13, they're going to kick the field goal. There's still 5:08 to go. Is it up? It's no good. It's still a 4-point game for Smoked Meat every day. I'm gonna head back to this game right now. .35 seconds to go in the third quarter. Plenty of time left. Rancho Robusto closing the gap. They are now only down by 2, but Texas Roadhouse have this one back. We'll keep an eye on that one for a bit, but right now it is tied up. Mama Logano's nothing but borscht. They traded touchdowns. 9:16 to go in that one. And it looks like, by the way, Stations of the CrossFit are up by 20 on biblical proportions. That looks like a 30-10. If I'm reading that score correctly. It's a very surprising result, I must say. That has many implications because Holy Balls are up big on Septic Tanks for Jesus. So, Holy Balls, with the results standing as they are, would take on Blind Bob's firing range. Holy Balls, who at one point were a ranked team, have climbed back in. They suffered a loss to biblical proportions, but biblical proportions have just melted down in the late stage of this season. Shame to see. This is probably their, I think, the team as a whole, as a team itself, probably their best season on record. They were formerly the Autopsies by Candace team. Sponsorship change. Same team, same players, aside from, of course, the ones that got too old to play. What Brown sit hoop and chat can do. They have to take the lead for nothing but go check in real quickly after this play is whistled dead. Sit, poop, and chat, not going anywhere other than the end zone. He's gonna sit, poop, and chat and score a touchdown. Nothing but Boars take the lead by 7 with 6:41 to go, and there is a touchdown. Shoeless Jims have taken the lead with 1:46 to go. This is the game we're sticking with at the moment. I believe Rancho Robusto have also taken the lead, but there's 7 minutes to go in that one, so this is the first game that will be getting to its conclusion, so we're going to keep an eye on this one with 1:46 to go. Smoked meat every day, down by a field goal. Jabroni Robbins with the return goes up to the 35-yard line, and it will be quarterback Gary Indiana. This is the former Pablo's Roadside Tacos team. Hits Jabroni Robbins. He breaks the tackle. The tackler was in a catatonic state. He just could not move. He was embarrassed. He stayed on all fours. And it's a touchdown, a one-play touchdown. Smoked meat every day, up by 4. What a finish we are in store for, folks. Shoeless Jims with a great kickoff return. Take it to the 44, 56 yards from a touchdown that they need to take the lead. It's intercepted, spontaneous ham bone. No flags this time. Smoked meat every day can just take this one down. They'll hand it off to I.B. Stucker. He's going to go all the way down. Oh, last-ditch tackle. He gets 30 yards and forces a second timeout. The game is over if they want to run this clock out. Gary Indiana is going to throw it into the end zone. It's incomplete, and he allows Shoeless Jims to keep their final touch. I don't remember what he's thinking. Hands it off to Stucker. He will take it for a loss of 3. Montreal Steak Spice with the tackle. But Gary Indiana, hold on to it. He'll throw for a touchdown. Jabroni Robbins. Again, when there's no kneeling for South Tucson youth football, it forces these kids to have to make plays, even if it's just a run up the middle. But, you know, these kids, pride gets in the way sometimes. And sometimes it works out. They can make plays like that and take an 11-point lead. Well, now with a minute to go in this game, it's starting to look like it's out of hand for Shoeless Jims. And we're going to go ahead and go around the horn right now. 2 minutes to go, and we got a tied game here. Nothing but Borscht and Mama Lugano's. 2nd and 1 for the team in white. Nothing but Borscht. That is absolutely right. There is no place for kneeling in the sport of football here in South Tucson. That is what they believe. There is, well, there's a penalty on the play. So 1st and 15 for nothing but Borscht. Minute 54 to go. We're going to take a look at this one as Moss Transit gets a touchdown to cut this game down to 3. It's going to be a 2-point game with 3:30 to go. We're going to keep an eye on that one. That one is very close, but this one is the first to go to a finish. Looks like Smoked Meat every day have forced a punt. They have the ball, and that is the final score right now, by the way. That is the final score. Smoked Meat every day, 38. Shoeless Jims, 27. That is the final score. Smoked Meat every day will protect their ranking, and they will possibly move up if there's any teams that will lose above them. Holy Balls got a win. And good look at the proportions. They are down by 13 right now, so if that result stays, then that will be a victory for Holy Balls and a spot against Blind Bobs. You know, a couple of things going into this one. The Mildew Crew. I love it. Yes. Mildew Crew of Moss Transit will love their players. Looks like Burns and Crackle for as much as we're seeing here. Look at this. We'll check in really quickly. Rancho Robusto throwing an interception deep into this game. It's 2 points. They're down by 2 right now. Texas Roadhouse. We're going to get back to that one in just a second. This is a tied game. We got to go back and forth right now. Texas Roadhouse from their own end zone, down by 2. Evade a tackle. They get it for it is, well, that is Moss Transit for Taxes gets to a third, looks like a 2nd and 2 or a 3rd and 2. Can't quite see it on my monitor. Mormon Whitecastle Jr. going to air it out for Mama Logano's the go-guard squeeze for the catch. And the first down, 45 seconds to go. Trying to avoid overtime. Marvelous Virgin gets the first down. Clock is ticking, 35 seconds to go. Can they do it? This is the game we're sticking with for the moment. Virgin into the end zone for a touchdown. We're going to cut over to this one right now. Texas Roadhouse, I hate to be doing this, going back and forth like this, but when there's just results coming in left and right that sway the effect of this game in the balance, Texas Roadhouse, I hate to say it to them, can confirm final score. Stations of the CrossFit 30, Biblical Proportions 17. That is an upset there. Holy Balls have clinched a spot against Blind Bob's Firing Range for the EAC Championship. That will be the game next week. Touchdown, Texas! I think it was James. I couldn't see who that was with the touchdown catch, but it is a 5-point game with 52 seconds to go. Rancho Robusto must score a touchdown to regain the lead or suffer an upset. I don't want to break it to Texas Roadhouse, but Burns and Crackle Mesothelioma Law Firm did win their game, so this is just for a great result on the record for Texas Roadhouse. They're still a great team, but they will not be playing this game again next week. It will be Rancho Robusto versus Burns and Crackle, another game we know the result of. Louisville Sinkhorn throws it to Burnett for a big catch, but it's going to come back with a holding penalty. And Mama Logano's did hold on to that win, 42-35, that final score against nothing but Borscht. So Mama Logano's have a chance to play for a title if they win next week, or if Francois Crapery do not win next week. We're going to go ahead and tell you all the things that we know for certain after these results came in. But right now, Rancho Robusto are down by 5, and this is the last of the games. What an upset on the cards here. Texas Roadhouse. Well, they'll need to force another timeout or two. Guitar solo. End zone touchdown, James. 5 seconds to go. Texas Roadhouse. Put a little exclamation point on it. It's a shame this team will not be playing for the conference championship. But they might have a good enough resume. I think 7-3 with this win on their resume over Rancho Robusto. And that's a strong win. Screamo Bandcamp. That'll be the end. It's 47-35. The upset-minded Texas Roadhouse do in fact get that upset, and they do in fact get the win. So go ahead and go through all of these results so far. It's a big upset against the number 2 team. I think anything will cause the kids at Texas Road, the fans at Texas Roadhouse to tear down the goalpost. But I think with that Burns and Crackle result coming in, it softens the blow a little bit. So look at that. Holy Balls, big win there. Stations of the CrossFit winning there. The Porno Shop with a big win over the Booze Hole. Kathy's Country Cookin' putting a blank on the Binging Texan. These are the games next. We'll focus on those first 3. Happy Release versus Kebab Barkers. Winner goes to the championship game. Flappy Pappies versus Tremor Pizza. That features a ranked team in a tough battle. And Pawn Shop of the Nazarene facing Blind Bobs, who are, again, a ranked team. Nothing to play for Blind Bobs. They're already in the championship game. They just want to improve their ranking. And those are the games in the late slot. One to watch, Twin Towers versus Captain Chuck's. The Mulchut versus Walter Shrapnel. That'll be a good one, too. And Salmon Sons need some help. They have big paws. Twin Towers versus Captain Chuck's. I believe Twin Towers win, and they're in. And, of course, that is our featured games tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. here in South Tucson. Ted's Baby Clothes versus Papa Joe's, winner to the championship game. And Francois Crapery versus Danish Lose. We're going to take a quick break from the action, play a quick ad or two for you, We'll recap. So let's recap right now before we go to a break. Recapping the games and what we know right now. So that will, in fact, put Rancho Robusto versus Burns and Crackle will be your championship game for the Big Small Business Conference next week. Rancho Robusto ranked number 2. Despite that loss, they did clinch their spot last week by beating the Mulch Hut. They take on Burns and Crackle, who got that win over House of Guffaws, despite Texas Roadhouse with the upset. That is how that shakes out. Texas Roadhouse will not make it to the championship game. So Rancho Robusto versus Burns and Crackle. That is one we know. Blind Bob's Firing Range will take on Holy Balls for the EAC championship. Holy Balls got the win over Septic Tanks for Jesus, but it was helped by Biblical Proportions losing to Stations of the CrossFit. So that is another one we know. We already knew that Flappy Pappy's Pancake Shanty will take on Abigail May's Aggressive Steakhouse for the Gluttony League Championship. Of course, they will both play games later. Does not affect their standing, but it might affect their ranking and their resume. So that is what's going on there. It leaves us with the Foreign Legion, the CSC, and the BCC still with spots in the title game up in the balance. That's in with our second session of games. We'll go to that in just a few. We'll be back with more South Tucson Youth Football. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. And we are back with Happy Release versus Kebab Barkers. This game will give the winner a spot in the championship game next week. It's as simple as that. Winner goes, and that is General Soreness, running back for Happy Release. Two teams really haven't focused on this much this season. They have not set the world on fire exactly. But yeah, they just haven't. That's simple as that. Both teams hovering around 500. But for the winner, it's a chance to face off against a very good team. A Francois Creperie that would be undefeated. Or Mama Logano's, we just saw how good that team is. And that's Burton with a big catch for 32 yards and a first down. Bob Barkers are a team we have seen in the past. They are no strangers to success. I'm just pulling up the historical stats that I have on these teams. Kebab Barkers have been in the playoffs once before. They have, that was from their one conference title. Look to see when that was. That was a while ago. It might have been back in the 2016-17 season. Yes, they went 7-5 and won the Foreign Legion by defeating the Wandering Lush in the championship game. Put that 6-4 team to a 7-4 team. They were the 8th seed in the playoffs, and they lost in the first round to the binging Texans. So boy, they'd love to have a spot back in the playoffs, but yeah, this isn't exactly the best team that they've ever fielded. Meanwhile, Happy Release, this would be their first ever title game appearance and first ever divisional title if they win. So uncharted territories for the home team here. Getting close to the end of the first quarter, we'll watch this play and we'll go over. Kerry Roberson dumps it off to General Soreness, gets the first down, but there's a flag on the play. It's offensive holding. It'll come back. We'll cut over this one. Flappy Pappies on the road against Tremor's Pizza. Flappy Pappies will play an 11th game next week. I know that it's against Abigail May's Steakhouse, but they're looking for Carpathia Titanic to get a touchdown. Big touchdown, his second of the day. I look that up. It's fine. I do want to see what his Carpathia Titanic has rushed for 1,582 yards in 9 games. That is astounding. I would venture to say that could potentially lead the league in rushing.
Tonight.
Fortunately, I don't have an easy way to
Hike.
compile all these at the moment.
Tonight. Tonight.
Seeing Tremor's Pizza with Smalls hits Darty on the out route. And they will have to kick the field goal. It's up and good. So breaking the seal is Tremor's Pizza, putting a big 3 on the board. And check back in on this one. We must have missed a safety. Happy Release had a safety, but Kebab Barker threw Mars Barton gets the big touchdown. Another game we're keeping an eye on right now is Blind Bob's taking on Pawn Shop of the Nazarene. Nothing other than just to boost the resume. Blind Bob's, of course, we know that they knew they will play next week in 11th game. We now know that it'll be against Holy Balls, so a team with a heck of a resume and a history in title games. This is Blind Bob's their first ever division title, their first ever appearance in a championship game, and it would be their first appearance in the playoffs if they were to win. Holy Balls are going for conference title number 4. They have won the EAC, formerly known as the American Freedoms Conference, 3 out of the 4 times in existence. The only time they didn't, it went to Pawn Shop of the Nazarene. But Holy Balls, man, that is a team that will be a very difficult game. That's an exciting game for me. I'm excited to see that one. But again, just as a reminder, this is the game that will determine who faces either Francois Creperie or Mama Logano's. It depends on the result of Francois Creperie's game tomorrow. They face Danish Lou's Chutney House. A win for Francois Creperie will make them the first team to ever go undefeated for a regular season, 10-0 in South Tucson youth football history. They will also win their division, and they will go on to face the winner of this game for the Foreign Legion Championship. If Danish Lou's can do what no other team has done and defeat Francois Creperie, big catch by Meth Schweppes, and Happy Release are off to the races. He's got support. The whole team joins him all the way to the end zone for the touchdown. Meth Schweppes, 76 yards, his first catch, and Happy Release's first touchdown. It's 14-9. As I was saying, if Francois Creperie lose tomorrow to Danish Lou's Chutney House, that will actually put a 3-way tie in the division between Danish Lou's, Francois Creperie, and Mama Logano's. And the tiebreak mathematically goes to Mama Logano's. It goes down to margin of victory. And Mama Logano's, now that we know their result, would do that. So, yeah, not an easy opponent either way for the winner of this game. But again, this is the opportunity you want. You want to be able to face the best and get a spot. You know, if you want to earn your spot in the playoffs, you got to prove you can win the big games. And I don't think either of these teams have any really good win on their resume. I don't see a single one. Nah, I don't. Their strength of schedule is kind of somewhere middling in the middle, again, because they played teams like Francois Creperie, Mama Logano's, yeah, again, because they're in the other division, they don't play all those teams in the other division. So Kind of makes it interesting. So, yeah, so general soreness, again, nice for a first down. And by the way, it looks like 21-8 or 21-6 is the score right now for. No, I think that's 21-6. And a big touchdown for Happy Release. They take the lead. And they're up by 2. Thanks to that safety. They're up by a safety right now, 2. Kebab Barker's Nick Arcade will field the kick. Oh, he's hit hard. And they'll start off at the 25. By the way, Blind Bob's and Pawn Shop Nazarene currently tied at 7. We'll go to that one if anything comes of it. Meanwhile, Tremors are on the drive. We're going to go ahead and cut to that one for just a bit. They're down 21-6 right now. Doherty! Big catch. So they're going to try to get into the end zone there in the red zone right now. Other games happening right now that championship game implication. The majority of our yes, we will know the result of the CSC. We will know if it will be the fun who will win the fun division. 50 lose Arcade just need to win. A win for them, and they're through. They're through to take on the winner of Papa Joe's or Ted's Baby Clothes Emporium. And that is a halftime score right now, so we're going to go ahead and go to 1 minute and 11 to go left in this one. Tied at 2. Tremors, lot to make up. 21-6 is that score. So we'll go back to that one if it requires it. Right now, it looks like the Gunnasium are putting a big result up on Shifty Lou's Arcade. 20-0 if I'm looking correctly at my monitor. But of course, that the Gunnasium, if they win and You Need a Clown can beat Bully Factory, then the Gunnasium have a chance at winning it. They could also do it on points. That score right now is 20-0 for the Gunnasium over Shifty Lou's. Bully Factory currently up by 14 on You Need a Clown. That's a bit more of a messy one. Again, the way the CSC is working, we're going to go ahead. These are the other 3 division conferences that we did not mention. These are the way they break down. Again, so we know, again, recapping once more. We know the Gluttony League will be Flappy Pappy's Pancake Shanty taking on Abigail May's Aggressive Steakhouse. We knew that as of last week when the results fell that way. Flappy Pappy's beating, who was it they beat? Smoked Meat Every Day to clinch that spot. We know that Blind Bob's will take on Holy Balls. We knew Blind Bob's for a while now. We know they are tied at 10 and going into the half with Pawn Shop and the Nazarene. Holy Balls got the win, and with Biblical Proportions losing earlier, that is going to be your EAC championship game. Rancho Robusto, we knew they had the spot after beating the Mulch Hut last week. They take on Burns and Crackle Mesothelioma Law Firm, who got their win over House of Guffaws, despite Texas Roadhouse beating Rancho Robusto. So it'll be Burns and Crackle versus Rancho Robusto. That is a halftime score right there. Up by 5 is Happy Release. So for the moment, we'll go over to this one. Flappy Pappy's and Tremors Pizza. Tremors with the ball. Down 15. It's to Hicks. Well covered, but good catch by Hicks. So those are the 3 games we do know. What are we still finding out? Well, as we head to the start of the second half here, the winner of this game, Happy Release versus Kebab Barkers, will play either Francois Creperie or Mama Logano's next week. If Francois Creperie win tomorrow, it will be Francois Creperie versus the winner of this game. If Francois Creperie lose, it will be Mama Logano's versus the winner of this game. Either way, it will be a very difficult game, and the winner of this game between Kebab Barkers and Happy Release will definitely be the underdog going against a ranked team one way or the other. That is the Foreign Legion. The CSC The Child Services Conference. A little bit more complicated, but not by much. On one side, we have the mandatory division, Ted's Baby Clothes Emporium versus Papa Joe's Child Escort Service. That is the game tomorrow. That's the first game of our featured games tomorrow. Those are the two teams playing for a spot in the championship game. Who will they face? Shifty Lou's Arcade, potentially, if they can win over the Gunnasium. If they cannot, then we will need the Gunnasium. Shifty Lou's Arcade currently are down by, it looks like, 20. If they win, they go and they play the winner of Ted's or Papa Joe's tomorrow. If the Gunnasium win, they have a chance, if the right result happens, in the Bully Factory versus You Need a Clown game that can put the Gunnasium through. They don't need Bully Factory necessarily to lose, but they need enough of a point swing to go through. So it goes to a tiebreaker after that. So, again, easiest one. Step one, Shifty Lou's win. They're through. Easiest one. Second, if they lose to the Gunnasium and Bully Factory lose, then the Gunnasium goes through. So that game is hanging in the balance. Gunnasium have a chance, but they can't do it alone. They need some help. And there might be a chance where Bully Factory can make it, but that's probably your longest shot. They'd need to do a lot. They need to win, obviously. They'd need the Gunnasium to win, but they'd need the margin of victory to be in their favor. Then we go to the BCC, which is the biggest mess of them all. One side, we have the Grit Division. And that is going to be our late games. I believe they're going to feature these. If Twin Towers Construction defeat Captain Chuck's Adventure Taxi, they are through to the championship game. If they lose and Sam and Sons Gazebo Repair beat Big Paul's Mexicanless Car Wash, Sam and Sons go through. So Sam and Sons do not control their own destiny. Towers do. Towers win and they're in. They lose. And Sam's win and they go through. So again, they don't control their own destiny. They're going to need some help. That's the Grit Division. The Grind Division is a mess. And here's why. The Grind Division has a situation that is not beyond possibility that can have a 5-way tie where all 5 teams finish 3 and 4. It is not impossible. It is probable. It is not it's not even improbable. It is very possible. I've never seen something like that before in all of South Tucson youth football. A 5-way tie in the division between all 5 teams. At the moment, I cannot tell you who would go on if that happens because too many games between the teams are happening that it would come down to margin of victory. If that 5-way tie happens, it would not even go to the tiebreaker, which is head-to-head, because all 5 teams would be 2-2 against each other. I tried to figure out all the playoff scenarios. Some were very easy. Some were not. I was jotting down numbers everywhere. And I just gave up and I said, this could potentially be a 5-way tie that would come down to margin of victory. And I don't know what that would have to be. So we'll just wait till those games end and find out who goes through. It will be any of those 5 teams. Captain Chuck's, the Horse Pussy Saloon, Made in Taiwan, the Literal Mayo Clinic, or Welders of the Universe. That is Leonard with a big touchdown for Kebab Barkers. They are opening this game up. Going to be up by 12 in this one. Looking at the other scores, Blind Bobs are surprisingly behind to Pawn Shop of the Nazarene. That could be a potential upset in the making. Still early in that one. We'll go to it if we need to. I think they're still early in the third quarter. Flappy Pappies have this one well in hand. They're up by 24 to 6. So that is very much in hand, and Tremors are at their own 9 right now. So that's Not anywhere close. Kebab Barkers, though. That is a team that will be happy to see a championship game once again. They'll maybe not this year, but hey, the possibility of rising above the rest of your division, that can help you bring some recruits in. I mean, there's going to be some competition. You get the chance to play against some really good teams in this conference. I mean, you're obviously going to be fighting those ranked teams in the Near East division for recruitment. You're probably not going to get the best of those players because they're going to go to teams like Mama Logano's and maybe even nothing but Borscht. Or not, sorry, Danish Luz. And certainly Francois Craver is just going to be getting stronger as they'll be able to recruit more and more after this year by saying they are, top team. That is Lionel Richie Stevens. The big catch for Happy Release. They are right back on the drive, and they're down by 12. But here we go. Start of the fourth from the 15. Can they do it? Fakes the handoff play action. Throwing out of the back of the end zone. Yep, Happy Release. They do know how to finish strong, so that is a thing. General Soreness. Oh, gets about 2 yards on that one. I'll mark it 1. He's just under 2. So that's going to be 3rd and 9 technically. And Wilcox up the middle. Backup running back gets the touchdown. Back to a 6-point game. Going to be 5 with this. The kick is good. It's a 5-point game. And Kebab Barkers, it's been back and forth. I think Flappy Pappies have scored again. Oh, the field goal they kicked. And Shifty Luz have been making a comeback. It was 27-7, I think. They have been slowly carving into that lead that the Gunnasium happens. That's not over just yet. And that's the fun bit. Some of these conferences, they don't have a top level team or a ranked team to speak of. So you get one of these exciting teams that might pull off a nice upset, put on a good run to end the season, and have a chance against a strong team. Because remember, the playoffs work this way. 12 teams make it. The 6 winners of next week's championship games, conference championship games, make it, as well as 6 at-large bids. That's the best 6 teams decided by the committee, regardless of any sort of criteria, any sort of conference affiliation. It could be anyone. They will all be seeded 1 to 12. The top 4 teams, regardless of automatic bid or at-large bid, will get first-round buys. 5 through 12 will be seeded 5 versus 12, 6 versus 11, 7 versus 10, 8 versus 9. It'll be a bracketed tournament. It won't be highest seeds move on to face the lowest seeds thing. It'll be a straight-up bracket. And they will be playing in the first round. So one of those teams got to win 4 games to be champions. Top 4 seeds, 3 to win. We've seen a 1 seed win once. That was the Marmalade Shack. 3 seed has won, I think, more than once. I think the Creamy Surprise were a 3 seed. I think the Binging Texan were a 3 seed, maybe a 5 seed. I'm trying to remember. You Need a Clown were a 4 seed when they won it. That was back when it was an 8-team tournament. And I believe, the selection show will air at the end of, I believe there'll be 3 different, there'll be 3 broadcasts next week, 2 games per day. I had to look it up to see how many number 1 seeds have lost in in their first games, because there might be a bit of a curse. So yeah, Binging Texan were a 3. I think the Creamy Surprise were also a 3. Marmalade Shack were definitely a 1, and You Need a Clown were a 4. But again, that was an 8-team tournament back then, so they only had to win 3, but so did everybody else. They didn't get a first-round bye. They played number 5 team, and they just kind of moved forward. In fact, it was a 3 versus 4 final, I believe. Yeah, they beat Sam and Sons Gazebo Repair in that final. I definitely remember that, because that was a dominated by the BCC and just a little less so the CSC that year. Yeah, so 2 3s, a 4, and a 1 have won it. Never a team from the first round but that could always change. Mars Barton is breaking free, going loose. Deep fry that one. It's a touchdown. Big score there for Kebab Barkers. They're trying to put the final price tag on this one. And they know the actual retail price of a spot in the championship game. Boy, do they want to go to it. So they got to stop a happy release. Again, I think one more stop on defense would probably do that. Would just about do it. So keep an eye on this one. Flappy Pappies, well in hand of that one. We're going to go ahead and just pop in and just check it out. It's 27-6. That score has not changed. Flappy Pappies on the drive, but they're going to basically take the clock down less than a minute to go. Flappy Pappies with that win. They go to 9-1. And with a couple with Rancho Robusto losing, that might move them up a level. We'll see Flappy Pappies next week. They might just help their case for a number one seed, a first round bye, not a number one seed. But looking over this one, Pawn Shop of the Nazarene putting the upset on Blind Bob's with a minute and a half to go. Pawn Shop moving downfield very nicely. They can just end this game right now. And look at this. Shifty Lou's Arcade have come back from 20 down. Charitable donation for the Gymnasium, not over yet. Kurt Upshaw, what a great game he has played. It would be just a shame to not get him alone. Gets it all the way down and out of bounds. They gotta kick this one. No, they're gonna throw it. It's too far of a field goal to kick. Upshaw, last play of the game. Can they get it? It's intercepted. Shifty Lou's will go and play for the championship game. They have won it. What an exciting end to that game. We only cut to the very end, but we're sticking with this one to the very end, and then we'll go back to the studio and recap and tell you what we know. So Shifty Lou's Arcade have made their have clinched a spot. It's Shifty Lou's Arcade. They won. That was the easiest scenario, and they have clinched their spot in the championship game next week. They will take on the winner of tomorrow's game between Ted's Baby Clothes Emporium and Papa Joe's Child Escort Services. Yes, there we go. Yes, we had 3 first-round teams to make the finals, but they could not win that elusive 4th game. The Horse Pussy Saloon, Ted's Baby Clothes Emporium, Moist Adventures. Been 1 a year, actually. Yeah, that's interesting. All 3 years we've done a 12-team tournament. There's been a team from the first round making it all the way to the finals, but winning that 4th game is tough. And they're inevitably facing a team that has had 1 fewer game under their belt in the playoffs. And we got an onside kick. It's going to go out of bounds. Nothing doing there. Kebab Barkers might have this one in the bag. Happy Release still have one more timeout, so they can also force something. Mars Barton tackled for a gain of 3. And that looks like it'll be it. Shifty Lou's Arcade are another team who have clinched a spot in the schedule next week. They will represent the fun division in the CSC game. In the CSC title game, they'll face Ted's versus Papa Joe's, the winner of that game tomorrow. We still will find out tomorrow if Francois Creperie will represent the Pinko division, or the Near East division, against the winner of this game. Or if it will be Francois Creperie, or it will be Mama Logano's if they lose. Showcase Showdown. Oh, that's good. And it looks like this game, yep, that is a final score right there. Kebab Barkers with the win. They will take on either Mama Logano's or Francois Creperie next week. And that leaves us with these scores to report. This is the second set of games. There are your scores. Rusty Pipe Job Plumbing that versus Busted Rubber. That one had no effect on it. But coming up next is where we will decide the BCC between Twin Towers Construction and Sam and Sons Gazebo Repair. Those will be the 2 games we go back and forth on. And there's our earlier games, of course. Big upset. Rancho Robusto, the number 2 team in South Tucson, with a loss. Very surprising there. Very surprising. Um, and of course, our game's coming up in just a minute. There they are. Twin Towers taking on Captain Chucks. Sam and Sons taking on Big Paul's, both with difficult away games. Twin Towers win, and they are through to the championship game. Sam and Sons need to win, and for Twin Towers to lose. That's basically what you need to know. We're going to take a quick break, and that's, of course, these are our games tomorrow. Big ones there. Francois Creperie win, and they are in to the championship game. Ted's versus Papa Joe's. That is basically for the spot against Shifty Lose. So we're going to take a quick break, roll a couple commercials, and we'll be back in just a few with our final game of the day. We are going to this game right now. This is Twin Towers Construction 7-2 with a number 10 ranking in all of South Tucson, taking on Captain Chuck's Adventure Taxi 4-5. Underdogs by about 2 touchdowns, and that's part of why McMilk6 Walter Payton, running back for Twin Towers Construction, has been just a force on that team. He rushed for 6 touchdowns in last week's big win over Busted Rubber, if I recall correctly. I think I recall that because I just logged the stats on that game recently, and he is just gonna keep things going. Can't be brought down. We go to the embiggener, but you can't embiggen that which is already large, which is the running ability and the talent of McMilk6 Walter Payton. Brought down for a loss that time by Eureka. Sworn affidavit overthrows. There's a flag on the play, and it's going to go backwards. It's offensive holding. That's one of the 2 games we're watching right now. Big Paul's and Sam & Sons Gazebo Repairs. Sam & Sons in the white and red away jerseys. That's Jeffrey looking to go end zone. Incomplete. Keep an eye on that one if we need to. But this is the game we'll focus on for the moment. Again, Twin Towers win, and they are through to the championship game. Sam & Sons need to win, and they need Captain Chuck's to win for this. Meanwhile, Captain Chuck's are in the middle of potentially a 5-way tie. Captain Chuck's have a lot to play for right now if they win this. They need some help, but I mean, there's just a lot to talk about at this point. And it's just such a weird, wide open division where we could potentially see a 5-way tie. But Twin Towers get the field goal to start things off, and they got to use their defense as Citrus Bowl short of the first down. Another punt, and it will be Twin Towers. Well, they'll let that one go out of bounds, so they'll start at their own 10. Sworn affidavit. Almost picked off. Questionable throw there. Affidavit, young quarterback. Lot to learn, but I think there's a possibility. Oh, he's taken down. Oh, just short of the goal line. They're down to the 1, 3rd and 19. And they air it out long. It's almost picked off. But I think forcing the punt right there is not the worst thing either. They'll punt from deep in their own end zone. And Morrow will return it from the 45. He's going to take it all the way down to the 10. They mark him at the 12, and it is Tremaine Gutierrez brought down for a loss. Big loss of 9. And the kickoff after a field goal for Captain Chuck. So again, the defense coming in strong for Twin Towers Construction. And a big tackle for a loss. 2nd and 23. 13-yard loss on sworn affidavit, getting sacked in the backfield. I haven't talked much about Captain Chuck's, and there's not really much been to talk about them. Only 4-5 today, going into today, excuse me. But their defense has been pretty locked down. Affidavit finds frickin' Frank his first catch of the day. 56 yards. And they followed up with a loss of 3. I don't know what is happening. Why McMilk's Walter Payton is not getting the touches here. End zone incomplete. Broken up by Spanish Harlem. They will kick the field goal. It's up and good for Twin Towers. Take a 3-point lead. 6-3. 7.5 to go in the half. A big catch by Citrus Bowl, but it's going to come back for offensive holding. Sam & Sons, by the way, still down by 4. 7-3 is the score on that one. Kick is off to Hart on the punt. And they'll take things over from the 50. Affidavit being harried, and he's sacked again by who else? Eureka. I believe that is a 13-year-old lineman. 13-year-old player for Captain Chuck. So, this is the last game for Captain Chuck for him. Then this is a big game. Not exactly been a high-scoring game. This one, defense has been strong, and maybe that shows potential of some of these teams if they make it to the playoffs. And the BCC is not exactly lit the world on fire this season. I'm not entirely sure that a single team can come out of the grind division, which of course is Captain Chuck's division. But not a single team will have a winning record, I don't believe. I think if the right results If the results I've been looking at make any sense to me, then that is kind of surprising. But, this is a conference that needs to rebuild a reputation, and man, I think it's obviously a single bid league. It's obviously a single bid conference. That'll be the team that wins next week. Man, an upset-minded team pulling off a surprise win in the playoffs might just be enough to kind of get people talking about this conference again. This is a conference that has, believe it or not, has never seen a championship, and they are a team that, in the very first year, 4 out of the 8 teams in the playoffs were from the BCC, and that's surprising to me. And then Twin Towers have just come out of nowhere recently, and in recent history, they've been one of the stronger teams. At the start of the very first season, it was Welders of the Universe who went 9-0 before losing their last game of the season, and there was no championship game for the BCC back then. They only had 8 teams, and that a touchdown? Did he break the plane? He did not. Bernard Berg, 4 yards, not enough for a touchdown. They're going to kick the field goal. It will be 9-3. Very, very cagey affair. The very first playoffs that were 8 teams again, had 4 teams out of the BCC. It was Busted Rubber, Rusty Pipe Job Plumbing, Sam and Sons Gazebo Repair, and Welders of the Universe, who went 9-0 before losing their 10th game in the regular season. Something that Francois Creperie tomorrow would like to not do, obviously. Be the first team to ever go 10-0 in the regular season. Welders of the Universe ended the season on a 2-game losing streak. They lost that first playoff game as well. So, definitely a bit of history that Francois Creperie do not want to repeat. Of course, they will have a game in between tomorrow and the playoffs. We can't imagine they wouldn't make the playoffs. They're the number 1 team overall. Even with a loss tomorrow to a ranked opponent, they wouldn't drop enough. And even if they were to lose in the championship, it's such a situation that I can't imagine they'd still not make it. But crazier things have happened. We're getting to the end of the half here. I think Twin Towers, the clock is still ticking. They have timeouts. They can use them. McMilk, Walter Payton. Yeah, they're just going to take it to the half. So we're going to go ahead and check in on all of our games are at the half right now. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to take you over to this one right now. Abigail Mays, Aggressive Steakhouse, taking on Del Grangos, and that's unfortunate circumstance. Breaking free, misses the tackle all the way to the end zone. Good time to catch that as they touchdown and take the lead. Good time to cut that one, and we've got, we're going to head over to this one right now. Big Paul's up by 1. The Sam and Sons, who just got a big sack on Jeffrey. Big Paul's a big sack. Pair of young, promising quarterbacks here. What a catch by Everett Irons! My word. Big catch down to the 39. Jeffrey being hurried again, gets rid of it all the way to Bellamy. Gets out of bounds, but just before the first down marker. Jeffrey again, good movement by this quarterback. He gets to Preston. What a stretching catch that was. Thurman Preston, the tight end, first catch of the day, 24-yard catch. First and goal, they headed up to Hodges, Demario Hodges.
Green 46.
Again,
Green,
these are two
46.
teams with young quarterbacks, promising quarterbacks. Complete in the end zone. It's 3rd and goal. Jacques Cummings. Of course, Big Paul's had big shoes to fill of Big Greg McMuffin, who got to be after he was 13 last season, so he is no longer eligible. They replaced him with Nick Semper Tyrannis, who's been all right. Again, he's a young quarterback. He will get better. And then it's a thing to replace, and you have Marshall Kalk. Marshall Kalk. He's going to get a couple extra yards on that one. Only 29 yards of rushing today. Not a lot for the running back for big calls. Marshall Kalk is that veteran player that got called for OPI there, offensive pass interference, and not a bad stat line for Nick Semper-Tyrannis. 9 for 16, 131 yards, and a touchdown in just a little over one half of play. And this would be a good way to end the season on a high note. Be a win over a tough team, a 7-2 team. That's Ellipses caps lock with the catch for a first down from the 46. Semper-Tyrannis NST to Marshall Kalk. He makes the extra move for the first down. 42. Crossing the halfway line. And it's picked off by Torontonio Antone. I keep getting this one wrong. Torontonio Ontaranoki. Not an easy one to say. Very mean parents. Torontonio Ontaranoki. And with that, I think we just missed another field goal. We're heading back to this one. 5 field goals in this game. Not a lot of offense. Defense been the priority. Twin Towers Construction 12. Captain Chuck's Adventure Taxi 3. A win is a win. Twin Towers, the 10th ranked team. Their first time appearing in the rankings. Big stop on Lundy for a loss of 6. A win for Twin Towers will put them in the championship game next week against a team as right now unknown. I think if I'm looking correctly, the scores right now are kind of starting to... Well, hope we all got ready for that 5-way tie, because we might have 5, 3, and 4 teams. And I'm not seeing anything that's really changing that right now. So there'll have to be some math. I'll just make a... they'll have to make some... I'll have an intern do some math for me. And, yeah. I'll start doing some math right now and trying to figure it out. But I'll have an intern kind of check that in on me and tell me who has made it. You don't need to know the math. It's just going to come down to if the 5-way tie happens, which, again, the scores are looking like they would be the case. It will go to... The next tiebreaker is head-to-head between the tied teams. Since it's all 5 teams, they all went 2-2 against each other. Then it becomes margin of victory in those games. Basically like points you've scored minus points you've allowed total. And so then we'll hopefully have a winner based on that. And if we break the tie, then we do it that way. If we end up with teams tied still, if anything breaks off the tie in some way, just so you guys know how tiebreakers work here. Again, the first tiebreaker is head-to-head or record between the tied teams. The next tiebreaker is point differential, margin of victory between the games of the tied teams. And lastly, the tiebreaker, and again, at any point then, I think if at any point, I forget what the exact tiebreaker is after that. It is written down somewhere. I have to remember it. It might be overall record. It might be a coin flip after that. I think it's overall record, and then it's coin flip. I think it's result against the next team in place. But if any time the tie is broken even in some parts, so if like a 5-team tie comes down to 2 teams, then we reset it and we go to head-to-head. So anytime teams are eliminated by a tiebreaker and there's still a tie, we reset and go to head-to-head. So if, again, that 5-way tie gets us down to a 3-team tie, we redo it and say, okay, head-to-head, 3 teams. So that will eventually happen. So yeah, that is we usually don't I don't usually want to like go into all of that, but we're actually going to have to address that now. So here we go. Uh by the way, the Mulch Hut still with a big lead over World of Shrapnel. That seems pretty safe. Abigail Mays are in a shootout with Del Grangos. They're currently behind. A lot of time to go there. 8:48 to go in this one. Captain Chucks look like they're no, there's not much going for them. It looks like it'll be Twin Towers construction. Check in on this game for the moment. It's 7-6. Big catch by Akeem Pierre. 66 yards today. That was a big chunk of those 66 on his 2 catches. Marshall Clock brought down. Oh, landed very uncomfortable to look at. Big ball. Nick Semper Tyrannus. Intercepted by Jacob Slatter. And Sam and Sons have a chance to take the win, take this game, and take the lead with DeMario Hodges going almost all the way to, oh, they'll give it to him on the movement. He got the forward progression even on the tackle. That is Magic Mouthwash. Big catch for Magic Mouthwash. And Sam and Sons, well, they don't need to worry about what happens. They just got to take care of the game on the field and get the win. Yes, they could win and still not make the championship game if Twin Towers win, which they currently are. But as far as you're concerned, that doesn't matter. You have to just win. Even if it's not controlling your own destiny, you just have to worry about that. And that's surely what the coach of Sam and Sons, Gazebo Repair, will have told these kids, if anything, if he bothered to show up today. I don't know. Our coaches are role models. And that's a big touchdown to Everett Irons. Sam and Sons take the lead for the first time today with 4:07 to go. Kick is up. Kick is good. 6-point game with Big Pauls still with a chance to win this one. They will take it deep in their own end zone. Ellipses caps lock. Good return all the way up to the 30. 31 is where they'll mark it, and we'll get back to that in just a second. We'll see an eye on this one. Twin Towers construction, they've got that well in hand. Oh, dump off to McMilk6 Walter Payton. It's 2nd and goal from the 16, so there must have been a big penalty of some sort. Sworn affidavit. Big drop back, goes to the end zone. Touchdown! Twin Towers to Golden Brown. His first touchdown of the game. 3rd catch, 74 yards on the day. That'll be plenty to give them a 19-point lead. With 3:04 to go, we're going to head back to this game. This one is the one-score game. Akeem Pierre lays out for the catch and makes it all the way into the end zone for the touchdown. Big Pauls back in the lead with the extra point. It's a 1-point game. Sam and Sons. Again, they may not know the result, but they know they need to get a win to even have a chance. Let's see what they can do. Magic Mouthwash will return this one. He has been everywhere on this field. They need to come up big. They need someone to make a big play. It's Magic Mouthwash. That's the answer right there. Is Magic Mouthwash. I cannot believe we're still seeing the potential of a 5-way tie in the other in the ground. Oh. Like welders of the universe are currently leading. They are currently leading the Horse Pussy Saloon, and last thing that is leading in Taiwan, currently leading the literal Mayo Clinic. So that's a big interception for potentially the ball game. Edmonton still have timeouts. They call their second one, but Big Pauls just put an extra score on the board. Still make it a 1-score game. Touchdown! Ellipses caps lock. He hits the 100 yards of receiving mark today and gives Big Pauls an 8-point lead off of the interception. Other scores coming around. The Mulch Hut are up big on World of Shrapnel. Hoot Nannies, Country Western Daycare, up on 1-800-BUY-A-DAD. I could say anything really other than pride. Manny's unfortunately mathematically out of this one because of Ted's and Papa Joe's playing tomorrow. And then obviously play Tuesday, so they couldn't both lose and force a tie. Looks like Extreme Dentistry had a big lead over Casa de Godoso. Again, a strong finish of the season for Extreme Dentistry, but they kind of dip in the middle. Bit of a surprise here, and yeah, it's like Del Grangos currently have the lead over Abigail Mays, so that's not momentum. Touchdown, Sam and Sons, Marcus Latimer on the 59-yard catch. Wow. And the 2-point conversion is good. We are tied at 21. Quick check-in as Captain Chucks did, in fact, get a touchdown. It is 22-11. They will, in fact, take that one down to the final whistle. That will be a Twin Towers construction victory. They will go to 8-2, and they will represent the Grit Division in the championship game next week. That game is just about going final. And I believe that it is, in fact, Big Paws have a chance. Open wide to Lipsy's Caps Lock. Big catch, big play for Caps Lock. First down from the 39, 46 seconds to go. Marshall Kalk is taken down in the backfield. Sam's have one more time. Both teams have one timeout to go. Nick Sempertyrannis, can he pull this one out? Oh, incomplete. Stops the clock. Stops the clock. Yes, that is a final score. Twin Towers Construction have clinched the division. Nick Sempertyrannis taken down in the backfield. Sam and Sons trying to prevent this. It looks like they will go for it on 4th and 23. They're in kind of that no man's land. It's too close to punt. Not enough. It goes to Joey Buttafuoco, and it's a turnover. Sam and Sons with 11 seconds to go. One timeout. They have a chance to take the lead. They'll hand it off to Demario Hodges, taken down in the backfield by Thaw, hungry man. We have overtime, and of course our very strange, nonsensical overtime rules. An extra minute gets put on the clock as long as it's tied. Once it's no longer tied, and that minute, if the clock ends, if the clock reaches 0 and the game is no longer tied, the game ends. Otherwise, we just keep adding a minute every time. So this is a good chance for Sam and Sons. It kind of gives the team with the last possession. You don't have to go for a Hail Mary at the end. You can kind of just, if you're tied, you can kind of hold on to it and take that extra minute and you get like a 1-minute drive. And Sam and Sons score! They come from behind to score a touchdown and take a 7-point lead. They now need to defend for 33 seconds. There's the kickoff. Ellipses Caps Lock takes it. This is a team that will, again, miss out on the championship game. But if they can finish the season 8-2, the feather in the cap of Sam and Sons, I mean, tell you a little bit something about their resume. We might have to start looking at Sam and Sons. Right now, if you recall, they didn't have the problem with a weak schedule, their strength of schedule. They have one of the worst 10 schedules, weakest 10 schedules in all of Tucson. They are, however, poised to end the season on a 5-game winning streak. So I don't know. I really don't know what to make of this team. They just won the games on their schedule. Can't help that. They beat the binging Texan. They beat 2nd to 9. Those teams did not have great records this season. They lost the Pawn Shop. And that is a final score. We're going to give you some bonus coverage somewhere. We're going to head over to this one. This is Hoot Nanny's Country Western Daycare in a shootout with 1-800-BUY-A-DAD. About a minute and 15 to go. Yeah, this is the case. Sam and Sons, I can't believe an 8-2 team will be considered a bubble team, but here we are. And Hootenannies look like they're going to go ahead and take this one to the final whistle. Let's take down the clock, and we are going to show you, looks like we have some final scores. And we actually have a 5-way tie in the other half of the 800 versus HOO, yes. Can't believe I'm saying this. We have a 5-way tie in the blind division. Horse Pussy Saloon, Captain Chuck's, Literal Mayo Clinic, Made in Taiwan, and Welders of the Universe have all finished 3 and 4. The team that makes it. So again, all 5 of those teams finished 2 and 2 against one another. So we go to margin of victory. I can't believe this either. That couldn't break the tie. It eliminated 3 of the teams. 2 teams had a plus 12 margin of victory. So it went to their head-to-head. And congratulations to the Horse Pussy Saloon, who will face Twin Towers Construction next week. It's the strangest thing. We now know a fourth championship game as we head to championship weekend. So again, we know the following from our scores. After that game, that set of games, we know that Twin Towers will take on the Horse Pussy Saloon, who actually lost to Welders of the Universe. They could have won that game and still made it through just with a little bit of an easier record. They ended up finishing 3 and 7, and they play in the championship game because the other teams were 4 and 6. Again, I don't understand how this works, but that's how the tiebreaker worked out. From this slate of games, we knew that Kebab Barkers will take on either Francois Creperie or Mama Logano's. Blind Bobs, despite losing, they will take on Holy Balls next week. Flappy Pappies, we knew they took on Abigail Mays. Last week we knew that was the result. That was how that was going to turn out. Despite Rancho Robusto losing to Texas Roadhouse, they will still face off with Burns and Crackle Mesothelioma Law Firm next week. And what was the one I didn't mention? Blind Bobs versus Holy Balls. Shifty Lose Arcade got a win. They face the winner of tomorrow's game versus between Ted's Baby Clothes Emporium and Papa Joe's Child Escort Service. Winner of that takes on Shifty Lose Arcade for the championship and will likely be the favorite. Francois Creperie and Danish Lou's Chutney House. Francois Creperie win, and they are in, and they will be doing the impossible. They will be looking for the elusive 10-0. It has never been done before. It has never been done before in South Tucson youth football history. Can Francois Creperie be the first team to go undefeated for the regular season? It would be absolutely amazing. It would be history in the making. Do not miss it next week. We will, I believe there'll be games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 2 games apiece. We will let you know when they will all go live. Keep an eye on the Twitter. Keep an eye in the Discord. Keep an eye everywhere for when those games will take place. Will probably Friday evening, and then Saturday and Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. of course here in Mountain Standard Time here in South Tucson. We'll get a definite time on the Friday night games. Figure out with school in session and all that nonsense. Because they're still going to school. They're not socially distancing here. Those are the games again. Blind Bobs versus Holy Balls for the EAC Championship. Shifty Lose Arcade versus the winner of tomorrow's game between Ted's and Papa Joe's. That's the CSC Championship. The BSB Championship will go between Rancho Robusto and Burns and Crackle. Francois Creperie or Mama Logano's, depending on if Francois Creperie win or not tomorrow. They take on Kebab Barkers next week. Twin Towers Construction will face the Horse Pussy Saloon for the BCC. And Flappy Pappies face Abigail Mays. That is it for us. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, it's been a wonderful regular season. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. here in South Tucson local time for our featured games between Ted's Baby Clothes Emporium and Papa Joe's Child Escort Service. And, of course, Francois Creperie closing out the season in their drive for greatness, their drive for history to go 10-0. They face number 9 ranked Danish Luz Chutney House, not Danish Luz Child. Danish Luz Chutney House. That's the game next week. That's the game tomorrow. Tomorrow and next week, we, of course, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have championship games. And, of course, Sunday will end with our selection show, where we will reveal the bracket for the playoffs, which will start, of course, the weekend after. That's it for us. Thank you so much for joining us here on South Tucson Youth Football. Until tomorrow, so long, Arizona.